have with me District Officer Lions Club International from UK, Mr. Raghbir Singh Sandhu ji. Well, I've had a very nice conversation with your son, Manraj Sandhu.
Thank you.
And his journey is remarkable. But what I feel is that your parents need to be your big support, so the credit goes, of course, to you. So how's it been for you as a parent?
I must say, Simran, to be quite frank, it has been challenging because, as we all know, as a parent, I just looking back at my own childhood, when my parents would tell me something as a child, you always disagree. So it was a bit of a challenge because Manraj is a very strong-minded character, and but having said that, I cannot believe the results and the achievements that he's made through over the years in business. This is something that I've, as one of obviously two parents, we've tried to drum it into both of our children from a very young age, because I'm a firm believer that if you've physically put in the time and the effort to achieve something, you will appreciate it a lot more than if someone hands it to you.
I even asked the same question to him, because a lot of times when we're talking especially about being an entrepreneur, there's this element of fear.
That's right.
Where would the money go, especially with the Indian families, because our forefathers have saved the money, so that the generations can use it. And then somebody comes up and it's like, I'm going to use this money, put it somewhere and maybe generate millions.
That's right.
So there's this sense of fear that must have been there in you as well.
It was, and it was there. It is even now, to be quite frank, because it's something which is part of life, and there is that, not only the trust element, but there's that risk element, which is a lot more worrying and concerning, because you don't know, is it going to work? And now the culture now, we're in 2024, post COVID and all the rest of it. The world is a different place.
Yeah.
It's when I was, in our business, it was very much hands-on, very much hands-on. It was literally your hands that you was running your business with. But nowadays, what with IT and technology, and the future generations are just always one step ahead. Now you have the things like AI and things. I wouldn't know how to use it, to be quite frank, but people like Manraj obviously have the ability to move with the times. So there is a huge risk element, but to be honest with you, you have to take a risk, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere.
But at the same time, you might have had a totally different way of working. Like when you were trying to make a living, you might have had different strategies, and coming from your parents, you learned things from them, and then your younger generation, so especially I hear that a lot. Our parents just saying to us, "See, Sanu on there," and then you have your younger generation being like, "We're smart."
Yeah.
So how to deal with that kind of situation? Because sometimes you can see that, all right, this is not going to work out, but at the same time, younger generation can be very stubborn.
Yes, you're right, and I think you've nailed it there. The stubbornness, we all have it in us. It's just a case of finding it. Before long, it will come out. The stubborn element in any human being. But I must say that in our case, the way it's there is that thing, as you've said, menu pata.
Right.
I often say that to Manraj, "Tu rehne de menu pata." But then I realised, no, that's the wrong answer. Because je menu pata, then it's me doing it. But I'm not doing it, it's Manraj doing it, as an example. So let him try.
Yeah.
And there have been occasions, and I'm sure he's mentioned to you, there has been occasions where he's fallen flat on his face because it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
But you live and you learn. It's that Punjabi saying, deg ke banda hoshiar hunda. Sikhna tahi hai je digunge. Ek do baar digna hi pena in order to
make it work
and to succeed. But you do need to have that, as a parent, you need to have that patience. You need to have that patience. You need to just hold your child's hand every now and then and just say, look, this is the right way to do it.
And leave behind that stereotype.
Exactly.
The way of working.
The way of working, because the world's a much, much more different place now to what it was prior to COVID.
So he's a success story as far as an entrepreneur's life is concerned. But what characteristics do you think are important for an entrepreneur to have in his personality, and what not to have in the personality to succeed?
I think one of the things I would honestly say is that do not have any arrogance about you. Because if you have arrogance, again, I'm going to go back to the Punjabi word of main kita. If you've done it, that's arrogance. So don't have any arrogance. Just be grateful for what you've got. Now, one of the key things you need to have is you need to have a vision.
Yeah.
A vision and an ultimate goal. How are you going to achieve that goal? That's where your journey starts.
Yeah.
So that's what you've got to have is a focus point. And what not to have, as I mentioned, is arrogance. Because if you have arrogance, in my opinion, and certainly, you know, in Manraj and my daughter and my wife, that's the case. We're very humble, very simple, and that's the best way to be. Just take each day as it comes and learn from whatever mistakes you've made. Just learn from it. Try and avoid making the same mistake again, and I'm sure you'll succeed.
Now, I asked this question even to Manraj. Sticking with your roots.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we are on this journey, we're like, let's forget about that. This is my journey. Again, the mare,
Yeah.
you know, but we make it, this is my journey, you know, and we focus ourselves completely on the project, on the baby, you know. I'd say the startup is a baby, you know, you have to groom it, you know, you have to make something out of it, you know, but then we forget everything else. We're like, we don't have time for this for now. Do you think we can still manage time? Because I see a lot of people, they will say this, you'd hear them, you know, I don't have time for this. I'm totally invested in this particular startup right now.
I think you need to get your work-life balance. You must have that. And this is something, I'll be honest with you, I've learned from Manraj. I was always, and even now to a certain degree, I'm still a workaholic. I will be focused. Even here now in Punjab, I wake up in the morning, first thing is put my laptop on and do what I need to do. Because, and Manraj will often say, Dad, no. You know, you're on a break for a couple of weeks, whatever. Yeah. But you need to have that work-life balance. Like, you work hard and you play hard.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. And one of the things, as I say, you know, with Manraj, he's recently taken up golf. So he will now work when he's working, study when he's studying, and then he will set aside 2 or 3 hours, however long it is, for the gym or for golf. So you need to get that work-life balance right. Yeah. You have to have both.
I think, you know, I even mentioned it to him, whenever you're in this journey, you're never alone.
No.
You know, there are people praying for you, there are people taking your side, and I think a parent's role is something very commendable, and you've done a great job. I think the kind of support and the way he is so attached with his roots, I think that surely comes from his upbringing and from your part that you've played as a parent. So, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, I would like to, sorry to interrupt there, I would like to add that it's not only me. If my wife was sitting here with me now,
right,
she would tell you exactly the same thing. It's not me. It's yes, you look at, you know, like with Manraj, we're very close, father and son. But it's my wife who's played a massive role in this, because she's the one who would sit there and say, no, you're going to do this in terms of study and education and school and tuition and things. Whereas with me, I was at work, you know, working more so. But as a parent, there is a huge responsibility on you. Right. And all I would say is that a parent is always there to guide you and support you. And with institutions like this, like what we've got here, it's great that you've got that added advantage. You've got your family circle who are naturally going to support you through rough times and good times. But to have an institution like this where you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to succeed, that will be a positive step in the journey.
It works in your favour.
It works.
It works in favour
Works
of
in a big way.
Journey, yes. So if there's any message that you'd like to give to the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs who'd be watching this interview, please go ahead.
I would say to all of you, each and every person, in one way or another, we are all entrepreneurs, all of us. Doesn't matter what level of business, what our dreams are, what our visions are, but we are all entrepreneurs in one way or another. So whatever idea you have, however big or small or even ridiculous that you may think it is, go with it. Try it, test it, and if someone says to you that will not work, look at that as a challenge. That's your challenge, to make something of yourself and go with your idea, because if it's your idea and your dream, your passion and your commitment and dedication is there, and I'm sure you will succeed.
Thank you so much. I think it's going to inspire a lot of parents and, you know, younger generations who are going to be watching this interview. And I think it's living one day at a time, taking one step at a time. At some points, you know, you don't need to rush.
You don't run before you can walk.
Exactly.
Step by step. Rome wasn't built in a day.
True.
So there we go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Simran Kaur signing off. We'll be coming with more interviews. Stay tuned.